Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing Blue Beetle. This will be a spoiler-free review, so you won't have to worry about any spoilers. Jaime Reyes suddenly finds himself in possession of an ancient relic of alien biotechnology called the Scarab. When the Scarab chooses Jaime to be its symbiotic host, he's bestowed with an incredible suit of armor that's capable of extraordinary and unpredictable powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes the superhero Blue Beetle. So I want to start this video off with saying that I am a DCEU Blue Beetle hater. I saw the trailer months ago and I thought that it was going to be horrible. I don't know who was behind the marketing for this movie or why they chose to make the trailer that way. They put that Lil Uzi Vert song or I Just Wanna Rock or something like that, and it honestly just left a bad taste in my mouth. It looked so horrible. It looked like super cringy and TikTok-y, and I didn't like it personally. I had no intentions of watching this movie. I had some friends that were like, oh, go watch it. And I was just like, man, this looks horrible. So I didn't go, or I didn't plan on seeing it. And then it was National Cinema Day, so the tickets were only $4. I heard some buzz that the movie was actually not bad, so I decided to give it a try. And this movie blew me away. You heard me correctly. It blew me away. I was expecting a bad movie, and by no means is it the best superhero movie or even close to one of those, but for me having low expectations and it actually being good and me being excited, like leaving the movie theater happy, content, it was actually really good. I loved it. I'm a Blue Beetle fan now. I was just surprised that it was actually really good. I don't know much about this character. I love comic books and video games, but I honestly haven't followed this character too much, so I didn't know much. Visuals were very nice. Very good. They were, I'm assuming, I think from what I read online, they were on a budget. They didn't get a big budget as other superhero movies get, so they had to do things on the low. So on some scenes you could tell it's just like a green screen background, something of that nature. But I really like what they did because they had to do that, or cut corners or save some money. They did a lot of physical sets and a lot of like real shooting versus just CGI everything, which was actually really nice and a breath of fresh air in my opinion. Maybe the modern movies do that too, but it really doesn't look like it. It looks like everything's CGI to me. So it was really nice to see this movie do something of like a throwback Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, where it's actually him just doing the swinging animations and then they just put the green screen background. So it was really nice. The suit design was really cool. I liked the way it looked. It kind of reminded me of like an Iron Spider-Man type suit design from the comic books, and then, you know, just with blue accents and blue color tone. The comedy in this movie was actually really good. I feel like at times it was trying too hard, and that's when it wasn't funny. But I feel like in the beginning of the movie and the ending of the movie, they weren't trying too hard and it was funny. And in the middle of the movie, it was like, okay, we reeled you in. We're trying to make this funny. And it just felt like really, really forced. Like a Doctor Strange 2 or an Ant-Man 2 or 3, actually. Ant-Man 3, sorry. But yeah, I just, it wasn't bad. It was just like slapstick humor, little kid humor. I don't know if they did that intentionally because they want to appeal to just kids and adults, but probably that's what it was. But I didn't appreciate the, you know, old school jokes, but hey, it didn't bother me that much. I have not seen George Lopez in anything in a while. Maybe I haven't just watched anything that he's been in, but it was really nice to see him in the big screen again and do his thing. He was hilarious. He stole the show. He was making me laugh the whole time. The storyline was very simple. It was very easy to digest. I feel like they were just focusing on making one good movie versus setting up 1,000 sequels, which I have a love-hate relationship. We are all part of it. We like MCU movies. We like these universes, but it's kind of ruined Hollywood in my opinion a little bit. I feel like back in the day they just try to make one good movie, and then if people loved it, we're gonna make another. And it just feels like everything nowadays is there's a bigger universe, there's a bigger world, there's this, that, connected, there's end credits. And yes, this movie is going to be part of something in the future, but I feel like this movie, if you watch it, you'll be like, this is one movie. This is not a setup for another movie. This is just one movie. And with James Gunn being the new head of the DC universe and what they're going to do with their movies, and him deciding to include this movie into his universe that he's gonna use them. I don't know how. We don't know when. But obviously he saw potential and he greenlit this movie, and I thought this movie was going to get scrapped, and it didn't. So I see why he kept it, and honestly, he knocked it out of the park. You know, Guardians 1 and 3, really good movies. I heard the Peacemaker show is really good. If you're a fan of James Gunn, you won't be surprised. So yes, although there were like mentions, like Easter eggs, if you know what to look for, of like other superheroes in the world, it wasn't a, this guy's going to come, that guy's gonna come. And don't get me wrong, we like to see team ups and stuff like that, but it was a breath of fresh air to see a movie just focus on its characters and itself. I thought the action in the movie was pretty good. Some cool fight scenes. I feel like not that many fight scenes, just like a handful, but they were done pretty good. Nothing out of this world that would make you go whoa, but it was good. I will say, if you have a Hispanic background or you are Hispanic yourself, you will definitely enjoy this movie. I feel like most audiences would like the movie. It was funny on its own, but if you're Hispanic, it just gives it that extra flavor, that extra adobo on top, and it'll have you smiling because it reminds you of your childhood or family members that act a certain way in the Hispanic culture. So that was really awesome to see being represented on the big screen. Back to the storyline, it was simple, easy to digest. Bad guy, beginning, middle, end, origin story, just classic superhero movie. Origin story. You couldn't expect anything more of it. And honestly, it was kind of emotional at some parts. I definitely had some teary-eyed moments, but it was good. It was good. Nothing too dramatic that'll, you know, shock you to your core, but it was good. So even though I did enjoy this movie, there were a couple of things I just didn't enjoy too much. The villains, not a spoiler, but it's basically just like a, okay, here's a bad person and I'm gonna hire some muscle and then that guy's gonna do everything for me. Kind of like Iron Man 2, where the bad guy is just some scrawny dude and then he just hires the muscle and then the guy's just, okay, I'll do whatever you say. He didn't do much for me. He was just a typical villain. His suit design was kind of cool, reminded me of like a Pacific Rim. Again, I don't know this character, so I don't know if he's supposed to look like that. It just looked like that. And then the main villain, you know, she has her plot, she has her thing. She did pretty good, like as her role, acting wise, like, you know, she was like pretty horrible. It was just a basic motive, nothing too serious. And so I feel like the character development of the bad guy towards the end, they kind of just like snuck it in there, like, here's some more depth of this character. And you kind of, you know, feel empathy for the character and understand a little bit more. But other than that, he was just a typical, just meathead villain. I will say, not a spoiler, he's Guatemalan, so that's kind of cool, you know, represent Guatemalans. So other than those two things, there was nothing really much I can complain about. With me having low expectations, I was, you know, beyond impressed with this movie. It was really good. This movie definitely reminded me of like an Iron Man 2 and like an Ant-Man 1. It kind of had similarities between there. So it was, again, nothing you haven't seen before, but it was done pretty nice and refreshing. So with all that being said, I will give this movie a 8 out of 10. You might think it's a 7 out of 10 since it's like a just classic origin story movie. But I gave it that extra point because honestly, the Hispanic references and culture in this movie really give it that extra touch. And it was awesome to see that all of that play out. So this is an 8 out of 10 from me. And I would rate this movie a movie theater popcorn. Not a souvenir popcorn. You don't gotta get a shirt and buy a bucket unless you want to. But I think it would be a nice night out, nice date night. Go to the movies and watch this movie. You'll definitely enjoy it in the theaters. So that's it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Comment what you thought or what you think, or if you're going to watch it down below. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.